Hey everybody, and welcome to the Chit Chat. I'm Adam, and today we're going to be looking at Goblin Grapple by Travis Hoagland and Silver Production Games. Now, this game is billed as a combination of Stratego and old-timey war. It is considered to be a party game for 2 to 4 players, and is going to use a lot of draft one, play multiple card mechanisms. Now, first of all, I'd like to say that I don't personally consider it a party game. It only plays 2 to 4 players, and it's really, really quick. I do see this as more of a simple filler than a party game, and we're going to cover a little bit more about that throughout the review. Now, I do want to say a couple of other things about the game before we really get into it. This is a pre-Kickstarter game, so if anything I say today really interests you, it's going to be on Kickstarter March the 6th. In addition, if you just want to know more about the game, more about the company, you can look it up on BoardGameGeek or at goblingrapple.com. Both of these things are going to give you a little bit more information about the game, and they're going to let you know what the designers think about the game as well. So, let's go ahead and dive into the review. Components. What do I think about the components? So, this is a game with 52 cards, and it's going to come in a small box like this. Now, the box is a little bit flimsy, in my opinion. I think it could be a little bit more solid, but that's a minor complaint. What I want out of a box of cards is the ability to carry it in my pocket, and I can do that here. So it kind of fits what you need. In a game like this, however, card quality is one of the most important components. So, what do we have on cards here? Cards are going to have all these pictures on them. They're also going to have a back represented like this. They do not have a white border around the cards. The game itself is going to involve a lot of hidden information. You're going to be placing cards face down a lot, and you're going to have kind of a bluff or guessing mechanism of what your opponent has. So, quality of these cards is really, really important, and wear and tear on these cards is going to make or break the game. So, what I would have liked to see is this be a linen quality card, so a little bit heavier thickness, and I'd like to see it have a white border in order to remove some of those damage issues. However, if it is something that you're concerned about once you've purchased this game, you can easily sleeve it up and you're going to get rid of a lot of those problems. I do have minor concerns about a sleeved copy fitting in this box. I don't think it was built for sleeves. However, I think you could probably get it done with penny sleeves or something of that nature, and that's still going to prevent the wear and tear on your cards as long as you're gentle with them. So overall, card quality is good but not great, but is mitigatable by doing a few really basic things to your deck. So, now let's go ahead and talk about the artwork. The artwork in here has got multiple different pictures of goblins, and I think they took a pretty interesting take on the goblins. I think they did a good job with the artwork. You can see that they're professionally done and designed. Now, goblins are somewhat generic fantasy, and so I have no idea how everyone is going to feel about that. Personally, generic fantasy does not bother me, and I like fantasy as a rule. The goblins in this, again, are done well, but they are goblins, so if generic fantasy doesn't work for you, I understand. The other thing is we're going to go ahead, and I think we will move to talking about the mechanics of the game. So, how do you play Goblin Grapple? Goblin Grapple, each of the players in the game are going to be dealt 5 cards, and they're going to start by drawing a card at the first of every turn. So on your first turn, you're going to have 6 cards in hand. What can you do with these cards? You're going to draw 1 card every turn, and then you can do multiple things. You can either play the card face down in your army. Cards in your army will score points at the end of the game if they've not been defeated, and they're something that can be engaged by any of your opponents. Second thing you can do is you can put a card face up in front of one of your opponents in order to attack them. If you attack an opponent, they flip over their card, and the highest number is going to win. There are a few special cards that will break that rule, but they're fairly minimal. Now, the third thing you can do is play a card from your hand that has an effect. Now, this is typically the Goblin Spy. The Goblin Spy is the 0 card. It allows you to look at your entire opponent's hand and then trade 1 card from your hand to their hand. So, what you're basically able to do with this card, see everything they have and then get rid of your worst card for their best card. Mechanically, I think this is one of the first things I want to talk about. So that Goblin card that allows you to spy on your opponent's hand. It is huge for strategy, huge for gameplay effect. You have a massive advantage as soon as you've played that card. And in a deck of 52 cards, when only 5 of them are that card, it's very unlikely that you will see it, and you can gain a massive advantage if you have seen it. At that point, I know my entire opponent's hand, and I'm able to manipulate it quite easily. Mechanically, the rest of the battle mechanisms and everything, they do work. However, I will say there is a fair amount of luck involved in guessing what your opponent might play. Now again, if you've had the spy and you can tell what's going on there, meaning you know what cards they have, you can make more strategic decisions. However, if you don't know what they have, they could have drawn all of the Goblin King, they could have drawn all 3s. 3s have no effect, and they make up 22 cards of the 52 cards in the deck. So there's a lot of 3s in the game, and that is somewhat what you can expect to see on a general basis. Cards after battles have been won will go into the garrison. The garrison is a scoring area. The scoring area can't be manipulated, and each round ends after 21 points. So mechanic-wise, most of the games that I've seen, and I took it to a few different events. So I've played this as a heavier gamer. I've played it with heavier gamers. I've also introduced it to families and some people who are really non-gamers, co-workers, things of that nature. To kind of get a very varied view of what people felt about the game. Oftentimes, as we've seen the game played, I usually see each round only going 2 or 3 turns for each player, sometimes less. So I've played multiple games in which I've actually been able to end the game on my turn or end the game on my second turn. And so it ends very, very quickly, even with inexperienced players. Now, you're going to play multiple rounds, so each round will end at 21 points, and just because you've ended the round at 20 points, it doesn't mean you're going to win. People could have things in their army, and that will score them points even though they did not get to 21 points in their garrison. Also, if things go not your way in one round, you're going to be able to play multiple rounds. It technically goes until someone has scored 100 points, but like other games like Love Letter and things of that nature, if you really are just looking for a quick back and forth filler, you don't have to play to 100 points, you can play that round. Okay, so now I've described a little bit about how the game plays and the mechanics it uses. Even though you're only drawing 1 card, you can play as many as you want in the 3 actions we discussed. Like I said, each round is going to end very quickly, and there is a fair amount of luck involved. So what did I think, and who is this game for? Now, I'm a fairly heavy gamer, and in all honesty, I don't think this is a game for heavy gamers. There is a lot of luck involved, and that's not usually something that attracts me to a game. However, it is very, very easy to teach. It takes virtually no time for each round. I would say each round is going to take you approximately 5 minutes, even with 3 or 4 players. So, families, people who are just getting into gaming, so people who have been a mass market gamer and are trying to get into the hobby game, or people who have never played a board or card game that are really above the 30-minute mark, I think that it's a perfect game for that type gamer. I also think that it works well for younger children. So you can play it as a family game with the kids, with a non-gaming spouse, things of that nature, and I think they're going to get some enjoyment out of that. And so that's where I think this game's niche is. It's quick to teach, quick to play, and not hard to put down in and after, and you can carry it to restaurants or on a plane, things of that nature. It's very, very portable. So now let's go ahead and talk about the Kickstarter itself, now that I've kind of given an overview for that game. So in the Kickstarter, this overall box is going to retail for $19 with free shipping to all US backers and minimal costs to Canadian and outside of the country backers. If you've purchased this for $19, you also have the addition or the option to add on this deluxe upgrade. Now, if you get the deluxe upgrade, you're going to receive this wooden box here, which is actually going to increase the size of the packaging quite significantly. This box will upgrade and sell for $15, and you'll be able to upgrade that way. That box will also come with some holographic cards. I don't actually have those, so I don't know how that's going to affect the card thickness or the feel of the game. I have mild concerns that that will actually make you able to feel a difference in those cards, but I'm not certain that that's the case because I haven't seen or played with them. So let's talk about value here. $19 for a deck of 52 cards is a little bit of a hard sell for me. I think it should be a bit lower in price point. I'm not sure what I would envision, and I don't think that's really something for me to say. The artwork, like I said, is good, and there are going to be shipping costs here. And I do think we should be careful about overjudging the price of the game because they're a brand new company, and it is harder for a new company to do such things. Now, the additional box that you can purchase is definitely not worth the $15 edition. However, I think it is a great way to support the company if that's something that you're looking to do. So if you want to see future games from them, if you want to help them recoup their investment on this project, I think it's a great purchase for that. All right, I think that's all I have to say about Goblin Grapple today. If you've enjoyed this video or if you have any questions, feel free to like and or comment in the descriptions below. If you really like this video and you'd like to see more reviews from me, or you'd like to see our chit chat where we talk about different board gaming topics, please subscribe to the channel and you'll have a video in your feed every week. Have a good one. Good night.